Hello, and welcome to Astronomy 030, the solar system, taught at Solano Community College. I'm your professor. I'm Dr. Trevor Gonzalez, and this is your introduction to our remote asynchronous course this semester. Okay, so what is this course all about? Well, as the name implies, it's astronomy, and it's specifically talking about the solar system. So the planets and other objects inside the solar system. It's not going to focus on things outside of the solar system, like other stars or galaxies. Okay? So that means we're going to have a lot of opportunity to talk about some amazing things like the moons of the gas giants themselves, the outer reaches of the solar system, like where Pluto is located, the asteroid belt, the relationship between the magnetic fields of the planets and the sun's solar wind. So it's really that focus on all those neat aspects of our own solar system, which is incredibly intricate, amazing, and I hope we will get a good slice of that in this class. All right, so well, I have a couple of things open here. I have the syllabus, which is a document, okay? Talk about that in just a moment. And I have our Canvas page over here open. Now, the whole course is going to be through the Canvas page, and it's going to be with modules. There's going to be one module per chapter, okay? And we'll have as many modules as there are chapters that we cover. The chapters that we cover are outlined in the syllabus precisely. Okay, now I mentioned this is a remote asynchronous class. So remote means it's online. And the fact it's asynchronous means we have no scheduled class meetings. So everything in terms of due dates is the whole day, right? So you have a period of time to say work on the quizzes and the homeworks, and then it's just due by midnight of a certain day. Also, any exams will be whole day affairs. So we'll have an exam that clears an entire day, right? So we don't have a particular time we have to schedule for exams. You have a day on the calendar. You have to have some time within that 24-hour period. Okay. So in other words, every single exam is 24 hours. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the syllabus. So you can see there is my name and there is my school email. Now, the best way to contact me is not this email. Don't do that, okay? Instead, send me a message through Canvas right there. That inbox is what I'm regularly going to be checking. So that is the way to contact me is the Canvas messages, okay? Now, there's other ways you're going to interact with me because I'm going to be grading your assignments. So that's obviously one way. Exams, right? You'll get direct feedback on the parts of the exam where you actually write short essays, right? You'll get my direct feedback there. And you're going to get my feedback through the discussion boards, all right? Because there's going to be required discussions that you have to participate in. They're not weekly, okay? They're not weekly, but there are a certain number of required discussions that you have to take part in, okay? And I will comment on those. So, obviously, so that's a great way to kind of have that contact. So it's not just you on your own, but since this is a remote asynchronous class, there is a lot of kind of self-pacing. There's work you have to do. You just have to do it within a week period for the most part, okay? There's also office hours. Okay, so I have scheduled office hours on Mondays and Fridays. Here's the Zoom link. Basically, I'll be in that Zoom room and you can come in. There's other classes that will be in there as well. Here's our textbook, which is Astronomy Today. All right, and we'll talk about where you're going to find that textbook. You can pick it up in the bookstore, for example. Okay. Then we have our student learning outcomes. Here is the mention of the Canvas. Now notice I'm just scrolling through the parts of our our syllabus here, the syllabus document. And the document, by the way, is right over here too. It's the only thing you'll see other than this unpublished lecture in Module 1, the Welcome in Chapter 1 module. Okay. So here's Canvas. Okay, I already do all that. So what about homework? Okay, so homework is from the textbook. Okay, that textbook, which was Astronomy Today, 8th edition. All right. Well, the homework is found here through My Lab and Mastering. So if you buy a new textbook, you'll have an access code. All right. Now, you can also just buy access to the online platform for the homework. Okay. Homework and quizzes are both going to be through this online platform. All right. So you see there it is right there. It's called Open My Lab and Mastering. Now, and that will take you there. The first time you do it, it's going to say set up instead of open. That's where you're going to either enter your access code or just buy the online access. You can also buy the online access with an e-text. So you got a number of options here. You can just do no textbook at all right? Just buy the access to the homework, which will show you the homework problems and will show you the quiz problems. You can buy the homework access with an e-text. I think it comes out to $100. Or you can buy a physical copy of the book that comes with an access code. Or you can buy a used physical copy of the book that doesn't come with an access code and buy the access code completely separately, okay? You could even have a physical copy of the book and e-text and the access, right? But then you're spending more money. So the minimum amount of money is going to be about $75 just to get access to the homework and not have a textbook at all. In that case, you might consider having an older version of the textbook. It's sometimes helpful to get some grounding in the class, either to get ahead, to read ahead, or if you want to kind of just have some ideas sink in, to sit down and read parts of the chapter, or just read the parts of the chapter that aren't making sense from the lectures and so on. So it's helpful, all right? It's helpful for many of you. I mean, unless you're really confident that you can do the class without the textbook, I would highly recommend it, okay? But you can't get the necessary points in the class without doing the homework and the quizzes, so you need to pay for this access, okay? All right, so that's going to be the homework. There's some information here about it. It takes up 20% of your grade. I dropped the lowest homework based on percent, right? So there's one freebie homework you can miss, for example. Then there's participation, all right? So every module is going to have an opportunity to answer particular essay questions that relate to the content of that chapter. So for example, the first chapter, if I go back to home and it shows the modules here, this first chapter is called Charting the Heavens. It's very much kind of like, hey, what is astronomy? Okay, so very introductory chapter. So I'll have a couple of very general essay questions. And in the participation, you can answer one of those questions, okay? Once you answer it, you can't, or what someone has answered it, you can't answer it. I don't want multiple answers to the same question, but you could comment on someone else's answer, okay? So that's a participation. There's an opportunity to do that every week. It will show up as a page, okay? Now, it's going to be a graded assignment, but I drop a bunch of them. So don't worry about the grade you're getting on a participation until at least week 10. Again, let me repeat that. Do not worry about your participation grade until at least week 10. Because if you look here, look at this. It says to potentially receive full participation credit, the last bullet point under participation, you will have to post at least 2 essay prompt answers and 2 comments. So that's a total of 4 weeks that you have to participate. 4 out of 16. So that means that there are 12 weeks worth of participation, which are graded. There you'll see them in the gradebook. They get dropped, right? So you could just not do anything the first 12 weeks in terms of participation and wait till the very end, right? Or get it out of the way in the first weeks. Most people tend to do that. So that's the thing. That's why people always ask me, like, oh, I'm getting all these zeros in participation. No, those will all be dropped. There's an algorithm built into the gradebook that will drop those. But because there's so many of them, it looks a little wonky until the gradebook starts to get fully populated with numerical values. Okay? All right. So just be heads up on that. Keep eye out for it. Okay? And I just get bombarded with so many questions about participation, so I want to spell it out. Okay? Do you have to participate every week? No. Okay. All right. Here's quizzes. Okay, so quizzes are also going to be through My Lab and Mastering. When you go there, the 2 things you're going to see are the weekly homework assignments. Basically, have a whole week to work on those, and quizzes that you only have a 2-day period to work on. Quizzes are multiple choice question. Homeworks are never multiple choice questions. Okay, so they're very, very distinct types of assignments, but they're both these kind of digital, web-based assignments. All right, they're worth 15% of your grade, and I dropped one of those as well. Then we go on to the exams, okay? So there's 2 exams. Exams have a particular format. We'll talk more about that when we get closer to the exam. I'll send out another video being like, hey, exam 1 is approaching. And again, this is a reminder. This is what to expect. And essentially what exams are is they're a combination of multiple choice questions, much like the quizzes, math-based questions, which would be drawn from the homework, because although the homework is tutorials and kind of interactive assignments, it also has a few that are just straight up math-based questions, like like how many meters are there in 5 light years, some sort of conversion like that. So in that case, it's going to be from the homework. That's right. I'm not going to pull anything that you haven't seen in terms of those math-based questions. Okay, and it's good to come to office hours and talk about which ones are the most likely to be on there, right? Now, the final part, because there's 3 parts to the exam, the final part of the exam is going to be the essay questions. Where do the essay questions come from? Those weekly discussion prompts, okay? So even though you don't have to participate in them, you might want to go and take a look at them, because if someone else has answered them, then you have someone's answer, which can be really good. A lot of answers are spot on. And if someone missed something or they kind of were a little bit off topic with their answer, you'll have my comment pointing that out. That will send you on the right track, so on the day of the exam, you're able to answer that essay. There's 4 essays. They got to be like 4 or 5 sentences long, or 3 to 5 sentences long, and that's part of the exam. All right. But it's all described here. That's the breakdown. Okay. They're going to be held on Wednesdays. All right. They're all day, and you'll see them on the calendar. Okay. So let's go ahead and scroll down, take a look at that calendar. All right. So you can see we got each week is a chapter. All right. And then I think I'm trying to think if we ever spent 2 weeks on a single chapter. We don't. Yep. So it works out that we cover just as many chapters as there are weeks. So we covered chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then spring break, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and then 28, okay? Now, because this topic, astronomy, introductory astronomy, without any math prereqs, is split into 2 semesters. Is the ones that stars and galaxies. That's the second semester. Most students don't take both, but that's the deal with the chapters. Is because all the chapters that cover stars and galaxies, that's 17 through 27. We're not covering those, but 28 gets covered in both classes, and that's about the potential of life on other worlds. Because there's a potential of finding life here in our own solar system, in some ice-capped moons, and there's also obviously the potential of finding life in other Earth-like planets in around distant stars. So there's kind of 2 avenues that astronomers and scientists are considering where they might find life, right? Find out we're not alone in the universe. Just so far, we haven't confirmed that. We've got some important dates other than just the weeks and the modules, like the last date to drop with a refund, the last date to drop without a refund, the last date to change pass, no pass, and so on, okay? Then your financial aid information, Netiquette, just some links there. Students with disabilities, take a look at that. Please contact me if that's your situation. Academic integrity, and there you go. That is the syllabus document. Good thing to refer back to, especially for the calendar itself. Okay, so the calendar I think is a real helpful document. Right? It's not repeated anywhere else other than you'll see the modules, and the modules will be posted on those particular days. I don't post all the modules ahead of time. I'm going to be basically populating them and writing them as we go. Okay. And so each week on the weekend, you're going to see the module for the next week come up, right? So you see here, we have chapter 2, the Copernican revolution, right? Whatever that is, right? But you will find out soon enough. And that starts on Monday, the 25th of January. I'll be posting the module and then starting to put in any extra things on the basically Sunday on the 24th, maybe Saturday. That's also what I'll be posting the next week's homework and the next week's quiz, but the quiz, of course, is only locked for this 48-hour period. The lectures I will record sometime throughout the week. I'll always make sure the lecture goes up before the quiz is due. You can see that quizzes are due at the end of the week. They're always due on Fridays. Okay, important thing to remember, quizzes are always due on Fridays, and homeworks are always due on Sunday. So you basically have all week to get the content done, okay? And case in point, there's going to be a lecture 1, Charting the Heavens, okay? That's not up yet, but it will be. The format of the lectures is going to be me talking over slides. I have a set of slides that are from the publisher that go along with the content of the chapter, and then I'll be discussing them, adding my own important points, things to focus on, going over any math-based problems, making sure we understand the steps, and also just understand some of the interconnected ideas, especially in chapters that have those. The first chapter you'll find is particularly light, that's just the nature of this subject, but there's ones where we have like a particular message to get across, and I'll be trying to make that as clear as possible when I go over the slides, okay? And they'll be posted on YouTube, they'll be linked on Canvas, and that's something that you watch in order to kind of catch up with the course, all right? That's the asynchronous part. You watch it when you want, you watch it all in one piece, you watch it again, you watch it on fast forward, it's up to you, okay? All right, so again, things to look out for, lectures every week, going to My Lab and Mastering, paying for the access, and looking for a quiz and homework every week. And the last thing you have to worry about, participation, because it's not due every week, right? You only have to do 4 out of the entire 16 weeks. But you also got to keep that in mind. Make sure you've blocked out time on that Wednesday, all day, sometime on that Wednesday for exam 1. Same thing for exam 2, okay? All right, we also do have a scheduled final, but obviously you have plenty of time to think about that. And that is the course in a nutshell, right? That's what it's all about. These are the things to look out for. Expect lecture 1 up by Wednesday of this week, okay? So that would be up by the 20th, the end of the evening of the 20th at the latest. And that's what we'll be seeing each week, okay? One last thing I want to point out is I will be giving little weekly videos, much shorter than this one, every week, just to kind of keep you in the loop. I'll just do a 5-minute update, be like, hey, these are the things to look out for. Oh, and don't forget, by the way, this is exam week, that type of thing. So always there'll be a real quick video in addition to the lecture video that goes up, okay? I call that my weekly look ahead. It's just to kind of stay a little bit more engaged besides messages, participation, feedback, and so on, okay? All right, well, that's all for now. I really look forward to meeting many of you indirectly, or at least seeing all of your work, and have fun with astronomy this semester. Bye for now.